Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about cryptocurrencies. Not the details and the hows and whys and what fors, maybe a little bit of the whys actually, but how I see these things affecting and changing the future of how we go about doing things, from economics to our understanding of what's valuable, what is wealth, right? And so I begin by asking you, what is the most valuable resource that humanity uses nowadays? Give you a second. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, the most valuable thing is data, information. That's how Facebook is a multi-million-dollar company without charging anything. It's advertisement revenue, and there's a little bit of there, but you know, it ain't no millions. No one pays attention to advertisement. Google, YouTube, Twitter, all these companies that don't charge much of anything but are like massive companies. It's because of data, right? This is the obvious way to look at it. Of course, what you watch and the websites you go to, all these things are pertinent to marketing, and that's part of the value that we can attribute to it. But the one that most people don't look at, that I want to bring to your attention, is of course, what other avenues or aspects of information do we use, right? So a book you read, that you buy, you go to Barnes & Noble or order from Amazon, any book you read, data, information, you're paying for that information. You want that information, it's valuable, right? Information is power. Power is valuable. It has influence. It can influence things. It can change things. It can change the world. A little bit of information. Information is supremely valuable. So books. What else? Movies. Those blockbuster, multi-million-dollar making movies. What are they? At their basic core, they're a story. A story is information, and a movie is just a story told visually. All information. TV shows, stories, information. Video games, stories, information. See where I'm going at here? Most of the things that generate the most income are by product based. Stories, information, data. These are by far the most valuable things that we use, have, and now in our current idea and paradigm, it's being funneled up to a certain entity or group of entities. It's centralized, right? There's one entity in charge of a certain area, of which all the information passes through them, and they have governance over it. They control what happens with that information. Usually by selling it, they make a profit. It's fine, it's a good business model, but what if we could actually use this to, I don't know, pay or incentivize the people to put good content out there? Have the people make the money that they're making money for these decentralized information. Now this is going to be a hard thing to try to wrap around. This is a hard thing for me to explain even. But how I see this all fitting together to make a much more equal and free society. And I don't mean by free as in like giving gifts, although it kind of does seem like that, right? Because now our current idea of how to make money is what? You gotta go to work for 8 hours, and you gotta work that entire time, and that's how you generate income. You work, you do something constantly, and you only get paid for the things you do. If you don't do things, you don't get paid. This is our current understanding of how you generate value or income. That's, of course, not always, this has been the mainstream idea, but of course there's a lot of people that know otherwise, and they're usually the people that are doing much more well off, because they know it's not just about how much time, but you can make your money work for yourself. You can make your money work for you. Stocks, housing, lending, and this is where your money's working with you non-stop. It doesn't matter how much time you're putting into it, how much time you're spending on a certain thing. The money's just residual. It's coming towards you. It's passive income. Right? This is the high tier of what everybody wants. Everybody should want to make some kind of income passively. Do your work, sure, because this is also leading to the transformation of our economic system and what it means to actually work. AI is coming out, right? Blockchain is going to help AI be more possible, if not making it blockchain being the one thing that actually makes AI possible, right? Because AI is very resource intensive. It needs a lot of CPU power, it needs a lot of RAM, it needs a lot of computer resources. Doing it through a decentralized fashion, quite difficult. You have to build the servers, you got to put these machines together, you got to run the electricity to power all this computer machinery. A lot of one space to have faults, one space to hack. When it's all just bundled up, it's really easy to take down, right? But with blockchain technology, it's opened up and allowed for the ability for resource sharing, right? You have your laptop, and when you're using it, but when you're not using it, you can lend your CPU power, your storage, your RAM. You can lend those out to other people via the internet, and of which they're paying for it. They're renting it out from you when you're not using it. And so now this opens up the possibility for people, again, making money off of things that they're already doing, right? Everything you do, every service or bit of art or all these things are valuable, right? So this brings me to us needing to change our definition of what is valuable, what is providing of value, what is wealth. Because you helping grandma cross the street out there, like, hey grandma, come on, let's go, and you take, that's causing an energetic effect, not just for you, but for her, right? There's an energetic exchange. That's all money or a currency is. It's a measurement of this energetic exchange. I do something for you, say I'm gonna roof your house. That takes a lot of energy out of me. Whew, I'm gonna need something to compensate for that energy, and so what you give me money so I can choose to do or receive what kind of compensation I want. That's all money or currency is. It's a unit of measurement of energetic exchange. You having an energetic exchange, helping grandma cross the street, that is valuable. Everything you do is valuable. Every bit of art you do provide is valuable. Your own unique essence, your existence provides its own unique type of value. All of us are valuable. All of us are generating value. Every time you go on the internet and go to a certain web page, that is valuable information that somebody is out there willing to pay for. Hence why all these tech companies are very powerful and have generated a lot of income, because they know it's powerful, they know it's valuable, and so they've used that to their own advantage. With blockchain, we open up the avenue for everybody that's providing value to benefit from that value they're providing. It's not centralized. You, the individual, have an ID or a digitized ID, and wherever you go, it's tracked. That information you can choose to sell and make some money, or you could choose to be anonymous and private. This is not quite there yet, but this is where it will eventually go. You have a data locker, right? You have a digitized ID that has a data locker. Every website you go to and frequent, and how many times, the one you frequent the most, certain products, all this stuff is going to be recorded under the ID or the digitized ID that is you, of which you get to decide, okay, I'll sell this stuff, all my porn stuff I don't want to sell because I want to keep that stuff private. You have customization, you have freedom of your own information, your own data, because that's all. We are all data generators. Your thoughts, your unique thoughts, your individual thoughts are information that's just becoming downloaded into you, and you reverberate it out to the people. That is valuable. You randomly come across a certain person and have this thing to say to them. You're just like, oh, right, I feel like I should say this to this person, and you go and say that to that person, and their life is like, oh wait, oh, thanks. I really needed to hear that right now. That is valuable. That's a valuable transaction of energetic exchange. That should be profitable. That should be accountable towards the value that is you, and that's where the digitized ID will lead to at some point, right? The total value of you in a digitized avatar. It's all recorded, and your worth, your value is measurable. And transparent. You can see where and how all the value you generate. So now we can go into like social media, right? You post a post, you share an image, a photo, all that stuff again is valuable. I don't remember where the study was, but I do remember at some point looking into it, the average person per year, if they were to actually get paid, or if Facebook were to pay each person their value of things shared, would be like roughly $1,600 per year. Which isn't a lot, but it's helpful, right? I'm sure you'd be happier with an extra almost $2,000 a year, because you're not doing more. It's something you're already doing. It's just actually monetizing it for you and not monetizing it for this company. Now this can all I'm going to try to bring this all into the new evolution of the internet, the Web 3.0, that will have this built-in identity as opposed to having an IP address that's tied to certain Wi-Fi. You will have an ID address or a wallet address. Better yet, we'll use the analogy of an email address, right? You have an email address. To use Google Chrome, you need to have a Google account, or at least it's better, it behooves you, or it makes the process much more enjoyable if you actually have a Gmail account, because it's all integrated, right? And then instead of an email account, you would have this address, your wallet address, your identification, your digital identification. You would have this that gets measured by the website, and so every website you visit, they'll collect certain bits of data, of which that data you have control over. You can sell it to certain marketing firms, or you can keep it for yourself to be private, up to you. But this digital identity will be measured and shown throughout everything. It'll be your email account. So you will receive messages through these. I mean, look at Unstoppable Domains and their chat service. Yourname.crypto. It's already going towards that realm, and so everything will be measured through here. And so domains that you purchase, all on your ID. It's also your bank account, right? It's also your tool, your gateway towards financial measurement. You not necessarily as a bank account, but you as a banking institution. The individual you are your own banking institution. I am my own banking institution. You can have a transaction of funds. An economic system that's based off of investments as opposed to just like random currency, like a dollar, which is only basically a IOU. Originally, even back in the day, but when it was still on the gold standard, it was an IOU. I owe you 1.6 grams of gold. Paper currency was always an IOU. Why do this roundabout way when it costs money to print these pieces of paper or these coins, when we can have a digitized currency, since it's already digital anyways? If you haven't noticed, most of it is using these little debit cards and credit cards. It's all a digital transaction anyway. If you could predict things, if you can see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, it makes what you're going through now so much more easier. Because I can also tie in this whole COVID thing and the economic reset and the housing crash, and I can tie in all these different things that are all different pieces to the one big puzzle that is a paradigm shift, a restructuring of our world system. But like I said, as I go on, I would like to get more concise, get more fluid in my explanation of things, because I know it's an amazing future that's ahead of us, so that we can all have this greater vision, so we can all be at peace of like what's going on now and this transitionary period that we are going through. So again, I hope you got something useful. If so, give me a like, subscribe to stay up to date as I start getting more and more honed into my explanation of things. And yeah, stay tuned. Much love. See you all.